Hi and welcome to our video series of interviews on women in digital currency. My name is Hayley Stootley. I have been in the executive business development industry. I am an entrepreneur, but most of all, my favorite thing in the world is I am a mother of 3 beautiful sons. I'd like to welcome our panelists today. We have Dana Steady. She's a featured entrepreneur, a mother of 4, a featured expert on TV and radio in the online retail industry, and a mentor to women in business. She is one very busy lady who also runs 4 businesses. So welcome, Dana. Now, we are super excited today, yet again, to be joined by this particular man. He is the founder of the Coin Lifestyle and New Currency University, the author of the Amazon best-selling ebook, The 7th Disruption, The Rise of the Digital Currency Billionaire, and the host of the TV show The Coin Prophet, a father of 3. So it is a big welcome to an iconic leader and a wonderful educator in the digital currency world. One of our favorites all the way from Atlanta, Mr. Tom McMurran. Welcome, Tom.
Oh, it's great to be here. Thank you. Thank you for letting me join you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. So today's segment is, what is Bitcoin? Now, Tom, Bitcoin, where's the coin? There's a lot of myths around this. So I would love for you to be able to fill us in.
Yeah, well, you're right. Bitcoin is a terrible name for it because there is no coin. It's actually a serial number. And, when you think about doing business around the world, we all do business in serial numbers. When you look at your own currency or government issued currency, it's got a serial number. Your checkbooks have serial numbers on them. Car titles have serial numbers, or VIN, what we call vehicle identification numbers. And so reality is just about everything we trade value in. A bond has a QSIP number, a house deed has a deed number. So everything is typically related to some form of a serial number. But Bitcoin is a serial number, and a lot of people don't realize it, but Bitcoin's a software program. It's actually not a company. Somebody published an anonymous software program. It'd be like me publishing Microsoft Windows to the internet and letting everybody have access to it and allow everybody to be able to use it around the world. So, but we know that Microsoft was published by Bill Gates, and he gets paid for that. The founder of Bitcoin or the creator of Bitcoin published it to the internet anonymously, and people from all over the world have adopted it as a payment method. It's basically an exchange of value. It's a software that allows people to exchange value with each other without using a bank. And so it's a little bit more, it's more of a payment protocol than it is an actual coin. It allows us to exchange value. So if I want to buy something from you all in Australia or New Zealand or wherever, I can simply go onto my online wallet, which is an app that runs on top of the blockchain, and I can send my coins to you, their serial numbers. And when they published Bitcoin, the one thing that's interesting about the software program is when you publish a digital currency, you stipulate how many coins will be created over X number of years. So you kind of create scarcity. Like Bitcoin was releasing 10,000 coins every 10 minutes up till about the 7th year, and then it kind of reduced in half automatically because it was programmed into the software program that there would be 5,000 coins every 10 minutes coming out until they reached 21 million coins. And you're talking a 20+ year period that's going to happen over. So it's going to take a long time for the rest of the coins to come out. It's like the last 25% of the coins will take another 15 years or something like that. But it's pretty interesting. When you publish a software, it can't be changed. Once it's on the internet, it can't be altered. So you can't all of a sudden say, hey, we're going to print another 21 million Bitcoins. And I like to relate Bitcoin to like the 1965 Mustang, which was the #1 selling car of all time. Each one of those Mustangs had a VIN number, which is a serial number. And that's how they track the value of 65 Mustangs around the world, is by those VIN numbers. If you don't have a VIN number on your car, it's not really included. You don't really have the value of somebody that does have ownership of a VIN number of a 1965 Mustang. But, the community of Mustang lovers has grown over the last 20 or 30 years. And today there's a finite number of Mustangs that are out there, and the community's 500 times bigger than it was in 1965. And that's why the Mustang has gone up in value. And guess what? Bitcoin has a lot more followers today than it had 7 years ago. And that's why the value has gone from 10 cents all the way up to $700 and something, $740 per coin. Really an incredible phenomenon. But Bitcoin has been an incredible investment. It's been an incredible proof of concept that we can actually transact business with each other around the world without using banks. And last time I checked, that was a definition for disruption.
Tom, I didn't know much about Bitcoin at all. Actually, I had no idea about cryptocurrency, full stop. But when I started looking into it, and the questions when I was talking to other people were like, what can they do with Bitcoin? So say they've got this Bitcoin, which is this just floating around because it's not a solid, it's not like gold or our actual money. So they can't get it in their head to how it works, and what can they do with it?
Well, I think Bitcoin is no different than the money that you have in your online wallet, on your checking account, on your mobile app. What can you do with it? Well, you can spend it. When you bring currency into existence with digital currency, you have the ability to save it, spend it, sell it. It's something that, really it's as tangible as real money. Because, when you think about real money, there's nothing that really backs like the U.S. dollar. There's no assets or anything that back the U.S. dollar. We've got 19 trillion in debt and 5 trillion in assets. So technically the U.S. dollar is worth negative $14 trillion, which means that everybody's tied to the debt of that. So, when you think about spending Bitcoin, you can buy a Tesla with it if you want to go into a Tesla dealership. If you want to buy jewelry at Reed Jewelers, the largest online jeweler in America, you can spend it there. 1-800-Flowers. There's a website called gyft.com that you can buy gift cards from over 200 major retailers, including Starbucks and Whole Foods and Walmart. There's over 400,000 businesses around the world that take Bitcoin. The one reason that's holding everybody back, Dell Computers just announced they're taking Bitcoin as well for Dell Computers. So there's definitely traction around the world of companies that are helping people take digital currency. And, when you look at companies like BitPay, anybody can sign up and they'll give you a widget to put on your website so you can start accepting Bitcoin as digital currency. And so but there are companies like OneLife and OneCoin that have come out with better solutions that are going to take the world by storm. And the big problem with Bitcoin, and I'll say this, is that it's just so volatile that if it fluctuates 5% in value in a week, that could be the difference between a retailer having profit and having negative profit. And so I think the one thing with digital currency, Bitcoin, that scares retailers away is its volatility. And it's just the perception of 741 a coin. It's like, golly, I remember when it went to 1,203 and then it went back down to 200. If I buy coins at 741, is it going to go back down to 140? I don't believe that's going to happen. Anything can happen, but I think Bitcoin is going to go up, just keep going up in value. And that's what's attractive to digital currency, is that as the community expands around it, so does the value of the coin, as opposed to government currency that's done nothing but shrink and lose value over our lifetime. I'll be honest, we've been working harder for less, and it's getting very frustrating because the $100 bill I had 30 years ago today is worth $60. And I've lost 40% of my wealth just by holding on to my government's currency. And the U.S. has done better than most countries. So there are countries that have lost a lot more value.
That's wonderful. Thanks, Tom. It just came up in my mind. So to give people an idea of the evolution of money, I know a lot of people, digital currency is just, I don't quite understand it. But when you're seeing the evolution of money, can you explain the evolution of money for me?
Yeah, sure. No, it's pretty easy. I mean, a lot of people know that we started off with, even prior to gold and silver, there were, all different methods of trading value with each other. I think more people would relate to, Beanie Babies and, video games and things that they've traded in the future. But there's a value between everything that we have. Baseball cards have value. But when you look at the actual currencies, obviously gold and silver came along, and it was kind of unusual to carry little bags of gold around, gold dust, and pay people in that. So that didn't work out well. So they came out with a method where you could deposit in the banks and you could write a check against it. And then ultimately the governments got into the game and said, well, if we get a bunch of this gold, we can create a government issued currency, and we'll issue currency backed with gold and silver. And then President Nixon came along and decided that we didn't need the gold and silver anymore, that we were just going to publish these paper notes, and people would trust that they had value, and there was really nothing behind it. I ran across a guy the other day that, honest to God, he still thought that the gold in Fort Knox, Kentucky, backed the U.S. dollar. I'm like, dude, that went away. That went to China a long time ago. Our gold left on a boat a long time ago. But, when you think about the next evolution that we're all used to, we think of the credit card, the magnetic stripe. Diners Club came out with that, and the credit card was a big evolution in payment systems, one that most people did not trust or understand when it first came out. And I think what most people are seeing today that's most relevant to what we're talking about is like Apple Pay, the Android wallets, things like that, PayPal, a lot of people, Square, Venmo. There's a lot of new forms of payment that are coming out, but again, those are all government currency-based models. So you're actually trading value in a currency that's losing value. And so what we're offering on the digital currency side is we're saying, hey, how about doing the same thing you're doing now, but having a currency that increases in value, or has the potential to. And we've seen some of the top digital currencies around the world, like Bitcoin and OneCoin and Ethereum, just create millionaires overnight, and people that have the ability to spend their coins and grow wealth, and it's pretty amazing. And so I would just say that the reason people want to look more seriously at digital currency, Bitcoin was very complicated in the beginning. Companies like OneCoin have come along and simplified it. Ethereum, they haven't simplified it, but they have a brilliant business plan. And so there's three big players in the space right now: Bitcoin, OneCoin, and Ethereum, with OneCoin being the largest. And it's probably because it's the easiest to understand. The other ones are just, you got to have a technical degree to even wrap your head around what they're trying to accomplish. But with all due credit to Bitcoin, it is the first mover. It has proven the business model. It has created multi-zillionaires around the world, and it's a fantastic way to transfer value very safely, very securely, and acquiring it today is getting a lot easier than it was, say, 5 or 6 years ago, when you basically had to send money anonymously to China or Japan, or be smart enough to set up your own computer server to figure out how to harvest it. It's like mine it is what they call. It's like most people mining digital currency. What the heck does that mean? And I think we're probably going to cover that in some topic in the near future. But yeah, Bitcoin's great. There is no coin. It's a serial number. Look at your dollar bill. You have a serial number on your dollar bill. If you erase that serial number off your dollar bill, your bank will not accept it, just so you know. That value of that piece of paper is actually the number that's on that piece of paper.
Wonderful. Thank you, Tom. And I know a big thing for me was when I heard you say that, and especially hearing that sort of not necessarily the negativity around digital currency, but Bitcoin. When you said to me that go onto Amazon and they accept Bitcoin as payment, and then we did a transaction and we donated money to a charity, that for me was the confirmation that digital currency, number one, is here, and really, why would Amazon, Dell be accepting them for payments? So thank you for that. That was a massive confirmation for me personally. And so for everybody, please stay tuned, because we will be continuing our series of videos on the core topics of digital currency with Tom. We look forward to you joining us, and we also look forward to being able to educate you on the power of digital currency. So our next interview is what is mining, and we look forward to seeing you all there. Thanks very much for joining us.
Awesome. Thank you.